Hello, my dear Gemini. This is your horoscope for 2024. Welcome to 2024. Happy New Year. Let's start with Jupiter, the planet of luck, happiness, and fortune on this happy note and Happy New Year. Starting with Jupiter seems the right, because this year, my dear Gemini, for you will be big transit happening with this planet. Jupiter until 26th of May, so basically first 5 months of 2024, will transit your 12th house. And Jupiter is the planet, as I said, of fortune, joy. This is our biggest angel in the universe that is showering us with gifts of the universe, of the destiny. It brings us all the positivity and expansion. You know, whatever it touches, it expands. It makes it bigger. It makes it joyful, makes it happier and luckier. So that's why it's, considered our angel that helping us and bringing gifts of the universe. Jupiter transiting your 12th house. It's like, preparation year. Jupiter is here already since May last year. So until May of this year, it will transit your 12th house already for a year. Jupiter spends in each house 1 year. So next 5 months, it will be continuing to giving you the gifts in this area of life. 12th house is about, getting ready house. So for you, last year and this year, first half of this year will be about getting ready. And also it's about healing journey. 12th house is the house of surgeries. It's a healing journey. If you had some surgeries in the past, it will give you the healing. And any wound that you have, let's say like childhood traumas or woundings, they also might might get healed or already did, because Jupiter is here since last year, May. Also, 12th house is the house of islands, isolation. It's a private house. So, here Jupiter, because of the planet expansion, it might have been like, you might have gotten a little bit private, more privacy for you somehow was important. And in your life became more private, let's say, recently. For some reason, and there could be even no reason, just because of that. Also, 12th house is the house of, hospitals, isolation house. It's like isolated places, like islands or prisons. So maybe since last year, May, you start living on an island, and you will continue until May this year. But after May this year, it might change, If you work, let's say, in hospitals or prisons, you might get extremely lucky. For example, your profile job will raise, or your salary will raise as well, or you've already did all these things happen, since last year, May. 12th house is the house of retreats. It's a house of religious trips. Maybe since 2023 you've been traveling, let's say, to those kind of places. Also, 12th house is the places of like power places, like Tibet, or I don't know, in places in Mexico, for example. So maybe you've been traveling to those kind of places, or you will be just having like retreat, some trips, and you will continue to do so. You might go to retreats, you might go to religious trips, especially since Jupiter now direct since New Year's Eve. It was retrograding, retrograding means like moving backwards, a little bit slowing down. It doesn't mean that it stops showering you with the gifts of the universe. It just means that some delays might have occurred, but now, because Jupiter will is moving direct, it will shower in this area of your life with glitters. Okay, here, and the biggest transit of this year happening for you, my dear Gemini, will be Jupiter moving to your first house after 26th of May 2024. This is big transit. It will transit your house, your first house, until 10th of June 2025. This is very major transit, because first house is the house of me, is the house of appearance, and it's the house how we look, can bring to your life happiness, joy, Jupiter expanding you, your view on the world, on life itself. It's a big angel. It will protect you. Your dreams might come true after, starting June, pretty much your birthday, my dear Gemini. It's a very lovely gift of the universe to you. Jupiter also rules your 7th house in the chart, so you might meet someone special or deepen the relationship. And Jupiter rules all foreign people, foreign lands, foreign companies, languages. So the person that you might meet most probably will be a foreigner, and that person will be special, and you will be in a relationship with that person starting from June. Or that person can bring you big luck also. here, and Jupiter, because of the planet of expansion, just take a good care, about your weight, if that's a concern for you, because here there is a risk that you might gain weight, because Jupiter is expanding and it's coming to your first house. It's any like physical expansion, any expansion basically. So take good care here. And in general, having Jupiter in our sign is the measure. You might change your style totally. You might decide to go, to go dye your hair to the color that you've always wanted. Finally, you might decide to cut your hair, let's say, or you might decide to totally change somehow your how you look. Also, and how people view you. For you, you will be the angel, because Jupiter itself is the angel of our universe, and any wish might come true of yours, dear Gemini. Okay, let's move to Pluto, another big transit of this year. Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's the planet of change, subtle changes, subtle influences. It's a planet of big money. It likes to give a little bit pressure. Also, Pluto, the planet of authoritarian people by nature and by profession. And Pluto's game is long-term game. Pluto's influence, you will start only noticing and feeling it only after like 10 plus years, let's say. Pluto will move this year into your 9th house for 20 years. Yes, I'm not joking, 20 years, next 20 years, on 20th November. So here, my dear Gemini, 9th house is the house of studies. If if you've been let's say thinking to study something, to enter university, just be prepared that it will not be easy. It will be a hard, let's say, job, and you will have to put attention. It most probably will last long term. Some people might study all 20 years, like doctors, let's say, or scientists, PhD as well. Also, 9th house is the house of legal cases, legal affairs, legal documents. So here, Pluto moving to your 9th house, I would suggest not to start any legal battle, any legal proceedings, because it might last all those 20 years. It might not be easy, and Pluto is the indicator of, as I said, authoritarian people, those people who have money, who have influence, who have power, and usually those people are hard to fight with, people. So it will be hard to fight with. Most probably your opponent will be such person. So here, take good care not to start any legal case, as it will be very hard to fight with such an opponent for the next 20 years, let's say. Also here, 9th house is the house of searching for meaning of life, Maybe you will be contemplating your life's meaning. And Pluto is the planet of deep, deep transformations. And for the next 20 years, expect that your life view and your view on, surrounding in general will be transformed in a very profound way. And Pluto loves to, first bring to the surface all the ugly things so that you deal with it. And after, when you finish dealing with that, facing your shadow side in whatever matter, in wherever Pluto is here, in your case, it's in the 9th house. And then after you dealt with all these bad things, let's say, you will become as strong as never before, because Pluto at the end makes us stronger. Don't forget about it, Gemini. And it makes us stronger at the end, and you will become this beautiful, confident, self-aware person. In the area of 9th house is search for the meaning of life, let's say. You've been probably already thinking about it, because Pluto first entered your 9th house last year, briefly, in March until June. At that time, you've got some, let's say, preview window of what is coming this year and the next 20 years. What else? Also travels. 9th house is the travels. During travels, you might meet a lot of people who are, let's say, in politics or in the governmental structures, because Pluto rules governmental structures like tax authorities, police, or bank as well, because those structures, those structures that can give a little pressure. So in the travels, you might start meeting these kind of people a lot in your surrounding, let's say. Okay, let's see for comparison, so that you get the feeling, what Pluto was doing before coming to your 9th house. Since 2008, it was in your 8th house. 8th house, so it's roughly 15-16 years. It's been transiting your 8th house. So Pluto gave quite profound transformation in this area of life. And this area of life is about 8th house, is house of exactly tax authorities, police, bank. Maybe for the last 15 years, you've been having some pressure or some kind of issues or stress from these authorities, like who loves to give pressure, because Pluto is indicating these authorities, governmental structures, and coming to your 8th house, it might, giving you a hard time dealing with those structures, governmental structures. But now it will stop and you will be happy about it. It will finally move out from your 8th house. 8th house is your financial house. It's the house of other people's money, but that comes to you, like your spouse, for example, or any kind of like scholarships, any funding from the government. So here, maybe your, for example, spouse was working and now it will stop. She, for example, if you're at that age, then she might go to pension, or he might go to pension. And, or if it's about scholarships from government or funding, it might also stop coming because Pluto will move out from the 8th house. You might expect that. Or like, those scholarships, fundings from government or any other institutions, like financial institutions. Let's say, because if you have a child and your child grow up or finished education, then the scholarship might stop too, in this case, right? And about your spouse, or he or she might have been working in these kind of structures, that I mentioned, in governmental structures that can give a little pressure to people. And Pluto in the 8th house might have brought to your life this kind of people, authoritarian by nature and by profession, like you met someone and you got married. So your spouse is from this kind of, like from tax, from police, from bank, let's say, authorities, and all sorts of financial help was also coming to you, probably from these areas, from these institutions. Pluto in the 8th house might have given you a loan for 15 years as well, like 15 years ago, like around 2008, let's say, you bought a house, let's say, or a car or something expensive, and you got a loan for that. But now when Pluto will move out from your 8th house, you will finally close that loan. You will finish it and you will be happy about it. Finish your debt as well, if that's not a loan or anything else. Like you have something like some pressure in this area. You owe some money, like big money, to someone, to some institutions, to some people, and now it will be stopped. It will be finished. You will finally pay off, and everything will be great for you in this area. And lastly, 8th house is the house of conception. Here, Pluto might have changed your view on having babies, being a parent, or like getting pregnant, let's say, changed profoundly. And if you've been struggling to get pregnant or to become a father, let's say, or with Ivy, let's say, now it comes to an end to this era, and it might be possible that you might get pregnant when Pluto moves out of your 8th house. You might find out finally that after a long wait, let's say, you are pregnant, you are becoming parents. It might also happen when Pluto transits 8th house. Finish. Let's talk about eclipses next. Eclipses this year happen 4 times, and eclipses are our elevators of the universe. It's like a lift that lifts us up very high, faster on our like destiny ladder, let's say. It's like a rocket ship. It pushes us faster to make that decision, to make that step, to finally go out and meet your fate, let's say. And eclipses happen because of the lunar nodes. Lunar nodes are these mathematical points in the chart in the sky, and they are 2. So they're always opposite to each other, located, and they show us in which area of our life fateful events or life-changing events will happen. Usually they're not, like, let's say, not most of the time they're pleasant, but always remember that whatever is happening is for good, because eclipses pushes us, and lunar nodes pushes us to our brightest destiny, to our better self, to our better future. So they speed up a little bit events for us, so that we finally do it, finally go, finally make, and finally step in, let's say. Lunar nodes, also called, another way to say it's like this line of fate and destiny, that shows us where we should be going to and what we should be releasing this lifetime. So let's see where those life-changing events will be happening in your chart, dear Gemini. So North Node will be in your 11th house, and South Node will transit your 5th house. So 11th and 5th houses, this axis is the axis of creativity, is the axis of future, friendships. So here, this is very important axis, like it's a axis of future. It's the global axis. Here you might understand finally what you want from life, and you might understand your calling. You might finally get understanding of where you want to be, in your future, and who you want to be in this life, what you want to be doing as well, what you love to be doing. It's also the access of love for yourself. You finally find your hobbies, let's say, and maybe you will make them your main job, your business, and you will find happiness. It's a joy, and your future global, it's a global access, and your plans might change, your dreams might change. You will understand how to get to your dreams as well. It's access of creativity here. If you are let's say in this area of art, if you are some sort of artist, like writer or singer, dancer, actor, they will be the most affected, because many events will be happening in their lives. Or if you've been having this kind of wish to be in this area of entertainment, you might get chances to go to auditions, to have your own exhibition and all sorts of things related to this. Also, it's the access of internet, social media. If you had a wish to be popular or famous, here is your time. These eclipses might take you to the seventh sky and make you famous to the whole universe, to the whole world, my dear Gemini. So this is your chance. Do the work, go out and make everything possible. And eclipses will make their job to have it for you and to bring it for you, that fame and that publicity. Also, it's the access of kids. If you've been long dreaming about kids, you will get kids. You might, you might become parent, or if you have already kids, then those kids will be in their life. Some important events will be happening that will bring you some kind of joy. It's the access of love as well. You might meet someone special here. And it's the access of big dreams. Your wish may come true. So wish harder, dear Gemini, especially when Jupiter is coming also to your sign. It's the, stellar positions in your chart. So dream big, dear Gemini, and for sure your dreams will, might come true. One or two, because you are the luckiest currently. And because this access of internet, you might get more followers, you might get more engagement, a lot of events or invitations for events, some social media events as well. It's access of business. You might open your own business, and it's access of harvesting the results that you deserved, specifically that you deserve. So you might, get nominated to some prizes, and you might get those prizes. Also, you might meet a lot of friends. You might make a lot of new friends, new friendship circle through internet, or even through social events. Okay, let me tell you when those eclipses are happening. They are 4, so take notes, because around those dates, much of those fateful and life-changing events will be happening. So first one will happen 25th of March, lunar eclipse in your 5th house. 5th house is the house of business, house of kids, love, our creative house, and maybe around this date your own exhibition will be happening, let's say in the famous galleries, or you might become an artist. You might get that dream main character role, or you might become parents, you might get kids, or you might open your business, establish your business at this time. And also it's a love house. You might meet someone here. Second eclipse will happen 8th of April, solar eclipse in your 11th house. 11th house, as I said, it's about big communities. It's a global house. It's your dream house, your future house of internet, harvesting the results in whatever area you are, by the way. And it's the house of friendships. So here, my dear Gemini, your wish may come true. Watch this date and leave a comment if some things that I mentioned will happen in your life. I would appreciate it a lot. Also, you might here become very famous because it's the internet, house. So you might, if you have such a wish, you will get it with the help of eclipses. Third eclipse, lunar eclipse, 18th of September in your 10th house. That eclipse will conjunct Neptune. Now, Neptune is the planet, it's a magical planet, mystical planet, but it's also a foggy planet. It tends to a little bit blur all the, borders, all the information. so it makes a little bit confusion as well. So here, coming to your ninth house, lunar eclipse, it's about social status, it's about career, it's about job. You might get a new job, new position, or you might get married, or even you might become a parent here, because social status will change, or grandparents, because if you are at that age. But something will not be, something will be off about that job. Let's say the salary will not be so clear, or the calculation of the salary, or something will not be so obvious. So here I would advise you to wait a little bit, so the dust after eclipses will settle, and you will see more clear picture, in 10 days, let's say, after eclipse appears. And the last eclipse, solar eclipse, happens 2nd October in your 5th house. 5th house here is again about business, about kids, about love. And also 5th house is the house of love triangles. My dear Gemini, take care here. Maybe you might know, someone's... let's say someone's having someone else, or you might be in this kind of situation. So take good care here, and it will come open everything. Or you might again establish business or kids. You might know here during 2nd October, in autumn, that you're becoming parents, let's say. Everything that I mentioned, the same as 25th of March eclipse. Here I would like to add one more interesting conjunction that will be happening during February, March, and April. Your North Node that is in 11th house, this elevator, this rocket ship of destiny, will conjunct Chiron. So Chiron is a mythical creature. It's called teacher. It's called wounded teacher. It's from Greek mythology. They call him wounded teacher, wounded healer and teacher. And its look is very interesting because it is like half horse and half human. And here, conjuncting your North Node in your 11th house is a superb position. Let me tell you, it's a stellar position. Your wish may come true. Dear Gemini, you are so lucky this 2024. Your wish might come true. Not one, but two. Why two? Because Chiron is also an indication of number 2. Because of his appearance, so incompatible appearance, like half horse and half human, these two parts. So because of this, Chiron is indicator of number 2. So appearing, conjuncting your North Node, this elevator of your destiny, it can lift you up you so high that you will be so happy, and your wish, not one, but 2, your dreams might come true. Watch these days during February, March, and April, exact 5th of March, actually, this conjunction. Also, please leave a comment if something might happen will happen around these days. I would love to hear about your achievements, about your dreams coming true, and I would be very happy for you, my dear Geminis. 11th house is also house of friendship. Maybe your friend will give you some sort of healing, give you the gift that you will never forget in your life. And that friend will become like a family, or not one or two friends, or even one friend who will give you 2 gifts. Or with 2 friends that you've been like close before, now you will become even more, or again you will start talking to them, maybe because Chiron brings healing, so it will bring healing to your destiny. 11th house is the house of big communities, and it's the online house. You might meet someone, one person, or it might be 2, because of this number 2, that can heal you as well through internet, online, social media, through events as well, because 11th house is the house of events, and who might bring a profound kind of let's say understanding of health, well-being, and mental health as well. Okay, let's talk about Mercury. Next will be Mercury, planet of communication, the little planet of signing contracts as well. Mercury typically retrogrades 3 times per year. And during Mercury retrograde, it's not advisable to sign contracts because Mercury rules communication, also writing, reading, speaking. Signing contract is not advisable. Doing plastic surgery is not advisable because then you will redo them, or somehow the results might not satisfy you. Buying expensive purchases is also not advisable because like house and car, and again here you might find better house, better car for a lower price afterwards. You might somehow regret it, or somehow you might not like your house in the future. This purchase, regretting this purchase, also not advisable to buy technical, like electrical appliances, because Mercury rules all electronical stuff like computers, phones. So they usually during Mercury retrogrades they go off, they go broken, and usually all these sorts of things happen during Mercury retrograde. That's why it's not advisable to buy those things. Also signing contracts, very important contracts, some papers, agreements, better to postpone, because then you will have to re-sign them, or some things will be not clear, and anyhow you will have to redo it again. So let me tell you which dates Mercury will retrograde. Be mindful during those periods. First, Mercury retrograde will happen from 1st April until 25th of April in your 11th house. So pretty much whole April. 11th house here, it's about friendship house. Here, maybe your old friends might contact you, old friendship circles, or you might go back to your like these social clubs, let's say, that you stopped being part of, to old communities also. This sort of all these things might happen. Next retrograde of Mercury will happen from 5th August until 28th of August. Again, pretty much whole August in your 4th house. 4th house is the house of family, house of real estate. So here, my dear Gemini, don't buy a house. It's not advisable to buy a house. To sell a house is a good time, but not to buy. Then you might regret it, Here, all like documents related to family and family's past might come up, and you will be running errands around these topics. Also, for houses, the house of citizenship, house of visa, residence permits, and those things might get delayed if you applied, and those things might get delayed, or some kind of mistakes might occur on them, if you receive them during that time. And your name or surname, double check everything, birthday, and number of identification number might be wrong, so you will have to redo it maybe, or those things simply might get lost. Some mistakes, miscommunications might happen when you're applying to those things, like citizenships, visa, and residence permit. Expect these kind of things. Okay, and the last retrograde of Mercury will happen from November 26th until December 15th in your 7th house. Now, this is very important. 7th house is the house of love, is the house of relationships, solid relationships, like your spouse, like husband or wife, and long-term relationships. These are not those that you met just now or just started the relationship. No, these relationships are about your long-term relationships. And also, it's about business relationships, your business partners and shareholders, here as well in your 7th house. So here, during Mercury retrograde, your ex-husband or ex-wife might contact you, or your ex-lovers as well might contact. A lot of times happens when Mercury retrograde occurs in the 7th house. Old, like previous relationships might contact. The same with the business partners. Some business partners might come back to you, might contact you to do again the business, to do again project that you did before, and it's good. You can do those, but just don't open new businesses. Do not sign new contracts. It's not advisable to establish anything new, to start anything new. But if you go back to the old partners and do the old projects again, then this is very good. Redo some papers, also very good, but not signing contractual agreements, because 7th house is the house of contractual agreements. No new contractual agreements should be signed during this time. Okay, now next let's talk about Mars a little bit, our planet of our engine. This planet is our drive, our motivation, our action planet. So this year it will retrograde from only the last month of 2024, starting from 7th of December in your 3rd house. So when planets retrograde, as you already noticed, might have noticed that they are moving backwards. But in real life, no planet is moving backwards, but just they appear to be doing so. But its effect, it's that, some things might be slowing down, especially when it comes to Mars. It's our planet of drive, our engine, our motivation, that gives us power. So there might be, when Mars retrograde, this drop of power, drop of motivation might occur. Drop of activities in general might occur. We feel more kind of tired, not motivated, let's say. We want less and less to go out and do something, let's say. So it is retrograding, will be retrograding in your 3rd house. 3rd house is the house of communication. So here, and it's a good timing, I think, end of the year, during December, it's a festive time. But here you might have like a drop of communication, especially with siblings, neighbors, and relatives. Maybe you would want just to be with your sweetheart, one and only, and, to get ready for Christmas and New Year only with one person. You might have such a wish at the end of the year. Less communication, can occur here with your siblings and relatives. Or it might also play out as that you might be having some work together that you did before with relatives or siblings or neighbors, or go back to finish something with them, the same work, let's say. Or you might be sorting out and talking to them, sorting out, let's say, some problem issues with them and talking to them again. It might also indicate that. You might start talking to your siblings, relatives again. It will be a good sign, because December is such a magical month. And to start again with the new year, it's always a good thing. Or it might also play out as that you know, those relatives, siblings, or relatives, they might be hesitant to do so, like to communicate with you. Also can happen. Third house is the house of transportation. Here, let's say if you have a car, it might get broken or somehow might be slow for some reason. Third house is the house of skills. You might get back to what you knew, let's say, you know, in terms of skills. Let's say if you've been good at archery or, you know, this specific skills like or makeup artist or like in cooking, something particular, these kind of skills are specific, so you might get back to those skills, what you knew, and now again, let's say, start acquiring or again doing that. Like you've been good at drawing, let's say, and you will do it again. It might also happen that you stop doing, but or also have to do it, or you will just out of, let's say, pleasure will do it. Okay, I think it's enough with Mars. Let's move and lastly to our planet of love, beauty, and money, Venus. Planet Venus will not retrograde. It is in direct full force whole year. Let me make you happy at the last. And you know, we all love when Venus is in our sign, because then we feel that we are shining, then we feel that we are magnet, we are attractive, everyone is attracted to us, and everyone is turning heads when we pass by at that time, and it's easier for us to convince anyone to do anything. And let me tell you when that period will be for you, my dear Geminis. Venus will transit your first house from May 23rd until June 17th. Wow, that is stellar. That's your birthday period, my dear Geminis. So use that time, make that birthday party perfect. Everyone's attention will be on you, everyone's eyes will be on you, you will be super cute, super attractive, and you will convince everyone to come to do whatever you need. And use that time, and you will be a magnet of your birthday, a star. Enjoy, my dear Geminis. Also, I'd like to mention Venus in the 7th house. 7th house is the house of marriage, house of relationships, business relationships. So Venus will transit your 7th house from October 17th until November 11th. During that time, your sweetheart, long-term relationship partner, or your spouse might make showers of surprises, gifts, and might love you extra at that time. Or you might meet someone special, or even you might get married at that time, or be proposed, you know, being proposed, or you will propose. So enjoy that period, my dear Geminis. So this is it. Basically, this was your horoscope for 2024. I wish you the best year, and the universe will make it for you that way, dear Gemini, as bringing Jupiter to your sign. Enjoy it to the fullest and believe in the universe and in yourselves and in your dreams, that they have the power to come true. Here I'm finishing. Bye bye.